Paul Lala, Hayna, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, Wamalaki, by Hashem, Harawat, Kakwadash, Barak Thumb, the water Bible Bar, Wakwam Yasharala. Double honor to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who teach us daily, and to the men out there teaching a likewise doctrine, I say to Shalom. Today we're going to get into a couple of videos. I got about 4 lined up. I wanted to sit back in the cut for a minute because it's only a matter of time before the truth really comes out about Israel and Iran. So I had to let these stories develop. Now that we got to the bottom of it, we could bring it out. So I'm not going to tell you the true reason why the United States bombed Iran. I'm going to let this woman in this video tell you. But first, let's get this video. It's talking about the whole setup because they've been talking about this, how they want to take down, I think it was 5 countries in 7 years or vice versa, something like that. So this has been planned out. But the reason they are attacking Iran, that's going to come up later. But let's go ahead and get into these videos. Now, this is General Wesley Clark. Yes, 7 countries in 5 years. And this is back in 2007. So let's check this out. Listen to what he got to say.
10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who used to work for me. And one of the generals called me in. He said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, "No." He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess."
See, this man dead ass serious, but these other Edomites in this crowd, they laughing. See, you laughing at the fact that your country chose to pick a fight with Iraq. Unfit to rule.
They don't know what else to do. So I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They've just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." And he said, "I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs," meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran."
You see, finishing off with Iran. Iran is the last one. Remember, during Trump's first administration, he bombed Syria 3 times. The reason, we're going to get to that.
The truth is about the Middle East is, had there been no oil there, it would be like Africa. Nobody is threatening to intervene in Africa. The problem is the opposite. We keep asking for people to intervene and stop it. And there's no question that the presence of petroleum throughout the region has sparked great power involvement. Whether that was the specific motivation for the coup or not, I can't tell you, but...
See? Now, what they did in these other countries, with Iran being the last one on the list, they haven't done this in Iran yet. They staged coups in these countries. If you don't know what a coup is when the United States puts a puppet in office to do their bidding. Now, when these politicians, American politicians, Bibi Netanyahu, when they call for regime change, that's exactly what they want. They want a puppet in that country to do whatever they want them to do. Iran said no. And it's the same way because it's like this. These countries that the United States bombed before Iran, they nationalized their resources. Now, when you nationalize a resource, you make it whereas the profits go to the people, they benefit the country. United States don't like that because they can't get their hands on it. Now, he just said that if it wasn't no oil in the Middle East, the United States wouldn't be there. So that's a clue to why they bombed Iran. Let's go.
But there's always been this attitude that somehow we could intervene and use force in the region.
Yeah. That's Esau. Whatever he wants, he just feel like he got the right to just take it. Let's get this one here. Same script, different country. Babylon and Amalek has been found out, even regular Jake seed. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Now, this Jake right here, he gonna be spot on when he explained the situation to you.
It's the same story, different country. 1950s.
Let's go.
In the early 50s.
1950s.
Iran elected a leader. At the time, Britain and America controlled their oil and their resources. They elected a new leader who nationalized the resources.
Nationalize the resources means
that
the nation controls it now?
Correct. So what a lot of countries that have a lot of resources do in a lot of situations is, let's say there are resources to the country. Right. They will use those resources to fund stuff for the country.
Makes sense.
But what we do is we privatize everything. Capitalism, privatize everything. So we go in a place with resources and we take those resources for corporate interests and give them pennies and say that we're helping them. A new leader came in and said, no, I'm not having this no more. He nationalized it so the people would benefit off the resources. And America and Britain, being America and Britain, is not having that. A regime change there. So for 20 years, it was an imperialistic puppet in Iran. And in the late 1970s is when they overthrew the puppet, and we've been beefing with Iran ever since. It's the same story, different country every time. It's the same.
This is really one big ass game of Monopoly.
It's the same story, different country.
They took out Syria, Yemen, Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan.
Damn.
Iran is the last power left in the region.
Y'all remember that list that General just went down? It's the same shit. And you know who Britain and America represent? Esau.
And it's crazy because Gaddafi, when he was alive, he actually gave up his nukes. They wanted to give him his nukes, he gave up his nukes. They didn't want him to step down. But they took him out in the most demeaning and demoralizing way. And then you have Hillary Clinton in an interview laughing about him dying.
I got to do my history because I don't really know. The only thing I know about Muammar Gaddafi was a Cat Williams his stand-ups.
He was in charge of Libya. The literacy rate jumped literally like 60%. School was free. Housing was a right. There was no homeless. They had no debt. No debt. If you wanted to be a farmer, it gave you land, gave you seeds. If you wanted to go to college and Libya did not have the program that you wanted, it would pay for you to go overseas.
That's fine.
In order to study. They had the highest GDP in all of Africa. He wanted to bring an irrigation system to make free water to Libya.
Free water?
He wanted to extend that to the rest of Africa. He called it the 8th wonder of the world. Wow. Free water to all of Africa.
That's crazy.
You know what NATO did? NATO bombed it.
Isn't that why something about Hillary Clinton always wanted to privatize waters?
Sound familiar? You know, when the Biden administration bombed the Russian pipeline? Yeah. If they can't control it, they're going to destroy it. That's the Edomite way.
or something like that.
They want to privatize everything.
Shout out to Bill Burr.
Everything. Corporate interest. Capitalism. They want to privatize every dollar. If they could
Free water.
if they could charge,
this shit
if they could charge you for the air you breathe, they would charge you. This was all off the resources of Libya. Because when you have the resources, you can do stuff like this. And not only that, he wanted to bring a national currency to Africa, backed off the resources. Couldn't have that. So he wanted the irrigation system and a centralized currency. So he gave up his nukes. He was going to leave himself for power. They didn't want that. They wanted him gone.
Exactly. They murdered that man. First, they demonized him, called him all kind of terrorists, just like they usually do. So when the United States call you a terrorist, you better believe they're getting ready to come after you and your shit. Let's get this one.
Phil Giraldi, welcome here, my dear friend. How is it that American Middle East foreign policy has been managed by American Jews at the present time, one of whom was born in Israel, fought for the IDF, and today has joint Israeli-American citizenship? And this seems to happen no matter who the president is or which party controls Congress.
We told y'all, it don't matter who's president, the same shit gonna happen. If Kamala Harris was in office, the same shit will be going on. It don't matter. They doing the same shit they did in Rome with the plebeians and the patricians. It was a two-party system, just like today, Republican, Democrat. But they the same people doing the same shit. They come up with a two-party system to give you the illusion that you have a freedom of choice. But you do not. Just like people finding out now they never had rights. Let's go.
Well, this has been particularly evident ever since 9/11. Basically, you recall, as I recall, that we had a group of American Jews who were largely in control of the Pentagon. I'm talking about Wolfowitz. I'm talking about Feith. And also the vice.
See, that general mentioned that same man, Wolfowitz. See, they control the Pentagon. They control America. Trump is a puppet. That's it.
President's office, Scooter Libby, and they basically did everything they could to start a war with Iraq.
See?
And the reasoning behind starting a war with Iraq was not because Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, as our good friend Scott Ritter would confirm, but rather because Iraq, the Saddam Hussein was supporting the Palestinians. And when the Israelis were arresting Palestinians, Saddam Hussein would support the families of those people arrested. And they were very, very angry about this. It was a major issue for the Israelis at that time. So at that time,
how dare you do something good and decent? See, that's why everybody hate these small hats, because these people, they are pretty much the council of the earth along with Babylon, America. Nobody want to see them coming because they always coming with some bullshit.
we wound up going to war with Iraq for no reason whatsoever, except that Israel wanted it. And this has persisted. But the point that I've been trying to make is that this has really gone far beyond what we saw in the years 2001 to 2003. And it's at the point now where our liberties are under attack, where this law, the anti-Semitism law that was recently introduced, is intended to shut down all criticism of Israel. It accepts a definition of criticism of Israel being ipso facto anti-Semitism. And we also have 35 states in the United States that punish people in one way or another who will not sign a statement or agree to a statement that they will not support boycotts or other action against Israel. So, in other words, states are stepping in to deny American citizens and citizens of those states benefits, jobs, and this is all going on. This has accelerated the process of Israel and Israel's partisans in the government running the show. I've seen estimates of the senior appointments in the current presidential administration that 70% of them at the senior level are Jewish. And almost all of them that do national security.
That's who running your country, the small hats. That's who got Trump doing all this dumb shit, the small hats. First they use you, and then they get rid of you. Just like they're using the United States to try to take Iran, and then they're getting rid of the United States by having it implode on itself. That's why Trump putting all these unrighteous decrees in place. That's why more and more of your rights are going down the toilet. That's why this country's in demise. Because the small hats got this orange clown doing the shit. And he's so stupid. He agreed, he signed on with destroying himself and his own people. He forget that his family lives here. You see how goofy Trump really is? You dumb enough to take $100 million. That's what they're giving him to do this. The small hats, they're giving him $100 million to destroy his own country. And it's no surprise to me because he joined that fake religion back in 2017. So yeah, they own him now.
Security and foreign policy are Jewish. So you have Jewish people with a vested interest in Israel deciding what the United States policies will be vis-a-vis Israel.
And this happens no matter who's president or which party controls the Congress.
Yeah, it's just a variation on how they play it and who's providing the money and the corruption. With Donald Trump, of course, it was Sheldon Adelson, and now his wife Miriam, who's offering, according to news reports, has offered Donald Trump $100 million in a campaign contribution. But the quid pro quo is that Trump has to go along completely with the Israeli government taking over all of what was historic Palestine. In other words,
see, they paid this clown $100 million to do their bidding, and he doing it. But he coming to y'all on TV like he down for y'all. No, he's not. And one indicator of that is his 34 felonies. This man said, fuck the law a long time ago. Y'all better wake up. This man has sold y'all out for $100 million. MAGA.
In other words, there will be no two-state solution. There will be only one-state solution, and it will be Jewish.
See? Let's get one more. Now, this is a clip from the Elder Malcolm's video in Chicago, and I was listening to it the other day, and he had a video of this female on there that she's about to bring out the real reason why America bombed Iran. Check it out. Oh yeah, if y'all ain't subscribe, highly subscribe to the Elder's channel. He bring out good stuff every day. Let's get it.
And listen to the information that she gives.
Here's what the US media is not telling you about Iran. In March 2025, Iran publicly confirmed that it had found 7,000 tons of high-purity antimony in one of its central regions. Antimony is a critical mineral, especially if you like bombs. It's used in military-grade alloys, semiconductors, armor-piercing rounds, and in plasma and hypersonic tech. It is also vital for solid-state batteries and quantum computing. Global supply chains of antimony are dominated by China, And China has been making moves to restrict export of these key minerals. High-level trade negotiations between the US and China took place in London in June. China's been explicit during those talks. They refused easing restrictions on any exports that were connected to the US defense industry. Specifically, defense contracting. They don't agree with private war. And they told the US unequivocally, these mineral exports are off the table. You are not allowed to use our minerals in your weapons.
See? That's why. So they figure they're going to just try to go in and take it because they want better weapons. But China and Iran specifically said, no, y'all can't have them. And I don't blame them because look at the shit they do now. I mean, just reckless, impulsive, emotional. Yeah, they made the right decision because Edomites don't know what to do with power, as you can see. Power is one thing about power. It will show whom it's not for. Power is not for Edomites. Look at the shit they do with it. So, yeah, they figured they're just going to go in and take it. Not this time, because Iran is backed by Russia and China.
Damn.
The US envoys left London empty-handed, and Beijing tightened controls the next day. The Western media frames those talks as progress on climate cooperation? No. The key issue was minerals, and China had...
Let's pause it for a second. That's some heavy information. So
Exactly. That's why. Okay, we can come out of this. That's why they bombed them. So they could be justified. First, they call them all kind of... They lie on these people. See, Esau go above and beyond with the lies. This man lies on nations. And then he lied after the bombing, saying it was a success. No, it was not, because they moved their shit. They know Esau. So, this is another point I wanted to make. I really think that this is all staged, meaning Israel bombing Iran, America bombing Iran. And then Iran, in retaliation, bombed the United States military base in Qatar. This is why I say it was all fake. Because, yeah, people died. No, didn't nobody die, my bad. They didn't have no casualties. That was another indicator that it was fake, because these Iran and Israel and the United States, they're projecting their punches. So what enemy calls another enemy ahead of time and say, hey, we're going to bomb you at 7 o'clock on Thursday? All right, bet. Nobody does that. When you will see a boxing match, don't no boxer say, hey, I'm finna hit you in the nose. Hey, I'm finna go for your good. No. That doesn't happen in real life. So, with the United States bombing Iran and they moving their shit, that could have been real. But Iran in retaliation gonna bomb the base in Qatar, which was already deserted. How did they know? See what I'm saying? They projecting their punches. It's all fake. This fight is staged. This is just my personal opinion. You don't have to take my word for it. Well, let's get some scriptures, man. Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given to the hand of the wicked. Cover the faces of the judges thereof, if not aware, and who is he? That's why all this wickedness is allowed. That's why all this wickedness goes unchecked, because Esau wants wickedness. This man so evil, the Bible refers to him as the wicked. There ain't no coincidence. Go to Daniel chapter 4, verse 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and give it to whomsoever he will, and set it up over it the bases of men. Base man, Esau. He want everything that he sees. He think that's going to elevate his status to God. Like, no, it just makes you covetous and wicked. You'll never be us. The Lord said, we are gods, not Edomites. You'll never be us, baby. You ain't got the juice, like the elder said. No flavor, no salt, no nothing. Just a sad ball of emotion. Job chapter 15, verse 35. They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepareth deceit. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 5. Verse 5. For this ye know that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man, that's the point, who is an idolater, have any inheritance in the kingdom of Hamashiach and of Yahweh. No. Esau, you too covetous, man. Everything you want, everything you see, you want it. You think you can buy it. You think you can just take it by force and violence. That's an immature spirit in itself. Unfit to rule. Go to the Apocrypha. The book of Sirach. Chapter 10, verse 3. An unwise king destroyeth his people. But through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Actually, we can start at verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. Trump is not prudent. Ain't shit prudent about him. He's too impulsive to be prudent. Verse 2, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. You got a dumbass president, you're going to have dumbass citizens. That's why, that's one of the real reasons why you American Edomites are in the situation that you're in, because you don't deal with reality. You don't deal with truth. Had you dealt with reality and truth, you would have impeached this man on his first violation of the Constitution. You would have charged him with treason, and then you would have put him in jail to make him serve out his 34 felons. But you didn't do that. That's why you're in the situation you're in now. Verse 7. Pride is hateful before Yahweh and man. And by both do one commit iniquity. All this iniquity Trump committing. And it's going unchecked. We told y'all before he came in office, he gonna speed up the destruction because everything he does and says is going to go unchecked. We said this at camp many times and on videos many times, way before Trump was so-called elected. We already knew what was going to happen. Verse 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Yeah, unrighteous dealings. Just taking people's shit. This is how they got the kingdom, and this is the same way they're going to lose it. Verse 9, why is earth and ashes proud? There is nothing more wicked. There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. Why? Because you see the shit they do to get what they want. Wickedness, nothing but. No diplomacy, none of that. No tact, no dignity, no morality, no integrity. Just lie on nations. calling them terrorists, and you the biggest terrorist this planet has ever seen. There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man, for such as one setteth his own soul to sell. Trump sold his for 100 million. Because while he liveth, he cast away his bowels. Now let's go to chapter 13. Oh, we go to 12. Verse 10, never trust thine enemy, for like iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. When it says never trust thine enemy, that also implies never believe shit he says. Because when you believe the bullshit he says, guess what? You trust him. Verse 12. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, that's all they do, overthrow governments. He said that in his video. You stand up in that place. Now he running your resources, telling you what to do in your country. Getting rich off your shit. Letting your people suffer and not give a damn about it. That's E. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. Exactly. Them coups, them puppets they put into place to do their bidding. And though at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Verse 13, who will pity a charmer that is bitten by a serpent, or come any such as come nigh wild beasts? This man get over on you with your own fault, because you chose to trust him. Verse 16, an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. That's all his laws are doing now. Trying to railroad you to jail for something, for little or next to nothing. He want to railroad you to jail. Verse 17, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee every time. Think about what just happened when they sat down at the peace talks table with Iran. While they were sitting in front of these Iranians, they had bombers bombing their shit, sitting right in their face. Yeah, and though he pretend to help thee. Chapter 13, verse 4. If thou be for his profit, he will use thee, but if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yeah, he will make thee bear and not be sorry for it. He gonna take all your shit and not lose no sleep. Verse 6, if he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou? What you need, baby? We got you. Bribery. That's why he legalized bribery. Let's go to chapter 14, verse 7. And if he do it good, he do it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. Every time, it never fails. This sneaky bitch always got something cooking. That's why it says never trust thine enemy. Verse 8, the envious man have a wicked eye. He turned away his face and despises men. The covetous man is not satisfied with his portion, and the iniquity of the wicked drieth up his soul. Go to Micah. Chapter 2. Verse 1, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds when the morning is light. They practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Verse 2, when they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away, so they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Now guess what? That's all they do, oppress a man in his heritage, oppress a man in his house. A man in his house, in his country, oppress a man in his heritage, those resources. The Lord put this nation of people in this land for a reason. Not you, Esau. But you decide you want to go in there and take their shit anyway. The truth of the matter is, that country's resources is their heritage. Verse 3, therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for the time is evil. Y'all ain't getting out of this one. You can't pay your way out of this. You can't bribe your way out of this. You can't lie your way out of this. Habakkuk chapter 2. Verse 4, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Always in other people's countries trying to tell them what to do. Who enlarges his desire as hell, taking their resources, and is as deaf and cannot be satisfied. That's what makes him unfit to rule. But gather unto him all nations and heap unto him all people. That's what he tried to do with NATO. Until they put this clown in there who knows nothing about foreign relations, destroyed all of the alliances except for punk-ass Israel. Keep going. Book of Ezekiel, chapter 22. Verse 29. The people of the land have used oppression and exercised robbery and have vexed the poor and needy. Yeah, they have oppressed the stranger wrongfully. The elder brought out a very good point. He said that Africa is the richest continent on the planet as far as resources. But at the same time, they are some of the poorest people in the world because Esau is raping them as far as their resources. That's all he does. Fuck the people. We want your shit. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 10, the soul of the wicked desire evil. His neighbor findeth no favor in his eyes. Yeah, Esau don't like nobody. The only people he like is Edomites that got more money than him. That's when he turned to an ass kisser. Look at Trump. This man don't respect nobody that ain't got more than him. Psalms, book of Psalms. That ain't what I'm looking for. But let's go to Psalms 58. Verse 2, yeah, in heart ye work wickedness, ye weigh the violence of your hand in the earth. It's like that general said. He said, that's what it is if that's how you treat every problem. Like a nail, because you're the hammer. Hammer of the earth describes America, the military force of the Edomites. And the only thing the military of the United States, all they really do is protect the resources and the interests of the elites. They guard it. They're guard dogs. They take your shit and guard it. Verse 3, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Esau goes above and beyond with the lying. He lies on nations. Told that straight up lie that they destroyed all Iran shit, and they said no, because they moved it. Now Trump coming out trying to threaten people, saying if you say something against that, you can get charged with treason. Why? For telling the truth? See, they don't deal with truth or reality. Unfit to rule. Psalm chapter 52, verse 2, thy tongue devises mischief like a sharp razor working deceitfully. Verse 3, thou lovest evil more than good and lying rather than to speak righteousness a lie. Still to Psalms 26. Shalaki, Proverbs. And we can start at verse 24. He that hateth disassembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believeth him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Whose hatred is covered by deceit, his whole wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. The whole planet seeing these liars lie. Who diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it shall return upon him. A lying tongue hated those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. Meaning, this man lying on you, he hates you. The bigger question is, who hasn't Esau lied on? Just like he tried to lie like he wasn't involved from the beginning. No, America was never not involved. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Verse 12, if a ruler hearkens to lies, all his servants are wicked. All his administration, his whole cabinet, because he's wicked. Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin or leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil. Esau is not going to do good. He was not created to be righteous. He's created to do just what he's doing. And he's going to be rewarded very handsomely for it. The Lord is allowing these goofies to basically earn their shame and their judgment. Book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 25. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. All the unrighteous decrees, executive orders, yeah. He shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many with the stroke of a pen. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. James chapter 1, verse 8, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. I might do it, I might not. Don't nobody know what I'm gonna do. When he made that lie, they were already involved after the fact. It was already done when he came on TV and lied like that. Go to Psalm 73. Verse 5, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Told you, this man said fuck the law a long time ago to get 34 felonies. Now He's talking about Americans between the ages of 18 and 24 with juvenile records, they will be drafted. Says the 5-time draft dodger with 34 felonies, but he looking at juvenile records. See, anything to make you guilty. Verse 6. Therefore, pride compasseth them about as a chain. Violence covers them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than the heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning the oppression. They speak loftily. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. This is all they know. Now let's go to Ezekiel. Get a couple more, we can close. Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity. In the time of their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus I will make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. Since y'all don't mind murdering, you don't mind being murdered yourself. Bet. But in this case, it's not going to be considered murder. It's going to be considered righteous kill, because the Lord taking you off this planet is the judgment for committing murder, which is considered a righteous kill. Psalms 137, verse 8. O daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. It's going to be, Esau, you think you're a fugitive now. You think people hate you now. Wait till society falls. Wait till you go in them chains, captivity. 1,000 years, baby. This is lad. We can get this one closed. Obadiah chapter 1, verse 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame. The house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them. There shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh has spoken it. Verse 21. And Savior shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. Not these greedy ass Edomites in the United States, and not them fake ass small hats over there that's getting rocked right now by Iran. Call Halayim La Lahayanaw Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, Wa Malakia by Hashem, Harawat Wakakwadash Barakathum, the water Bible Ball Wakwam Yasharala. Shalom.